Good morning and welcome back to the Hobbydude 007 channel and Model Cars and Coffee with Hobbydude. Today's build is an old show theme that goes back to 2007. When I was building this one, I just fell in love with it because number one, it's one of my absolute all-time favorite cars and it's a Mopar. But if you walk into my shop, because of the bright color and its unique stance, it's probably the first thing that sticks out. Let me share it with you. Bring your model to life with MCV products. Visit them on the World Wide Web at mcvproducts.net. In the 1960s and 70s, you would often find my dad, my uncle, and myself at our local drag strip. And boy, Saturday nights were awesome. I grew up around some great stuff. I witnessed the gasser wars, match racing, bracket ride, just all kinds of awesome stuff. Super stock, gassers, pro stock, even some funny cars and stuff locally. It was just a lot of fun. What a great era it was. Well, springing out of that era, you had increased horsepower, you had better tires, traction, and you started seeing the wheelie cars coming around. And there was nothing cooler to me, whether it was on the street or especially at the drag strip, watching that front end come off of the ground. Wheelies were just cool. Nothing like seeing a drag car come off the ground. Well, of course, this led to an exhibition division in NHRA, which was these extreme wheelie cars. And these were just cool. And by the way, if you saw these things at night and you saw all the sparks flying off the back of those things as they went down the strip, and a little side note, where they could see the track, a lot of these cars had clear sections in the floorboard, so when the front end was raised, they could see the track. Not that they could steer it, but that you could see the track. But these were great little exhibition cars and a lot of fun stuff there. And even today, I enjoy seeing these things. And of course, now you got the traction bars and the wheelie bars that kind of keep them a little more controllable. But I remember fondly these wheelie cars. In 2007, the Birmingham Classic theme was wheelie cars or wheel standers. This was so cool for me because I have never built a wheelie car, and the rules were the front wheels had to be off the ground and it had to have a driver figure. So I thought, you know what, this is going to be kind of fun. And of course, I went to my old favorite hot rod, that being the 70 Plymouth, and this monogram 1/24 scale was the one I chose. And I also picked up I think I picked this up at one of the shows somewhere from a vendor, one of the GMP 1/24 scale Christmas trees. I already had in mind what I was going to do for the figure, and I'll touch on that here in a minute too. But then it was off to the car. Well, in that it was going to be hood on, I didn't have to worry about a whole lot of engine detail because the hood was going to be on the car. And I did want to deck out the interior a little bit. So I removed the back seat, as you see here, and took some sheet plastic, measured it out, and fit that in there to build a bulkhead back there, and scratch built a roll bar out of evergreen rod. And you'll notice that spatter finish, which was very popular, and you'll still see that in some of the cars today. This was primed, the interior bucket was primed and then painted with an automotive flat black. And to get the spatter finish on this one, what I did was I took an old toothbrush, cut the bristles down a little bit, dipped it in a little bit of thinned down Testors light gray, the Model Master light gray paint, and then just took my finger and flicked and until that got on there. And I recommend, by the way, this is a great way to do it, but I recommend practice that on a piece of cardboard or cardstock or something like that till you kind of get the pattern you want, and then go from there. And if you don't thin the paint down just a touch, it can be globby and it can look pretty bad. And then moving on to that driver figure, And the rest of the interior, by the way, was pretty much out of the box. I brought out a little bit of the detail with toothpick and paint on the dash, the instruments, that kind of stuff. The driver figure is a 24 scale figure out of one of the Stock Car Plus series from the Monogram NASCAR kits. And I think the driver figure turned out pretty good. The hands fit the steering wheel just like they were made for that car. And then the harnesses and the belts were from, I think it was a Detail Master hardware set, the photo etch hardware set for the hardware for the seat belts. And you'll notice on the helmet, the face shield on the helmet is gold. That is nothing more than bare metal foil gold. But I think it looked good. I was going to put silver, and I put the gold on there. And after I did it in black originally, but that gold just looked cool. Moving to the body, I had to open up the rear wheel wells a little bit, as you can see, to accommodate the size of those rear wheels, which was common. And the tires are from Competition Resins. I picked those up from Slicks. They have the full line of competition resins, and the tires are actually a very hard rubber, and you see there that's a wrinkle slick. The rims, front and rear, are a set of machined aluminum that I picked up in Toledo, a few sets of those a number of years ago, and I think they just really look good on here too. And next up was the base itself. That's just a piece of wood, cut down chunk of I think it was plywood that I'd cut a piece down, and I cut a little bit larger piece of I think it was not evergreen, Plastruct, a really thick piece of sheet plastic, and I did that as the top. And then I masked it off, painted the stripes and the concrete and asphalt sections, and then I mounted the Christmas tree like you would see on the Saturday night. They just set it out there and put some cinder blocks, and these were just some resin cinder blocks I picked up at a show somewhere. And had kind of detailed those out a little bit in that light gray. And you also see the Christmas tree is wired to the staging lights a little further back. I call this launch. And then here it is, the way it was displayed. And then from the other side, I just like that stance. I think that just, or that launching attitude of the car there, but I think it turned out really, really good. And that's it. Let's get over here to the turntable and take a quick look at it. And here is my 1970 GTX wheelie car. As you can see, I just love that little stance there. Close look at that base there, which again is just that Plastruct sheet painted up. Then the cinder blocks and the wiring to the Christmas tree, or excuse me, from the staging lights to the Christmas tree. Look from that other side. And you can see that interior. Well, hopefully you can see some of that in there. Floor pan is done the same way there. Look at the driver. And you know, back then, I really liked these great big Plymouth down the side of it. I liked that. Another look at that driver figure, and let's get down there to those harnesses there. You can see the hardware there. But a pretty simple kit. By the way, that is Protec. I don't know if you can see them. Protec hood pins. And the cowl induction hood was from Bandit Resins. K-Dog. And look at that front end again. But I think overall this just turned out really, really well. And the car that actually won, this category had a lot of wheelie cars in it, and they were all really cool. But the car that actually won the wheelie car is right here. and it is by our buddy Tim Custom, Tim Kolankowitz. I've known Tim for pushing 25, maybe even 30 years now, and let me tell you, Tim is a absolutely great modeler, creative modeler, but this Corvair was absolutely awesome. Custom made decals, everything he did himself, and it has withstood this test of time. In fact, if you'd like to see how he built that, head over to Tim Custom and check out. It's quite a few videos back, but he'll go into this particular wheelie car, and it is just an awesome piece of work and well deserving the win. But this was a new one for me, and it was fun. It's only been to that one show, but I'm thinking with drag racing being the theme for Atlanta, this wouldn't be a serious contender for that, but I think to fit the theme of drag racing, it might be just a good one to take down and just put in there. Guys, have an absolutely awesome day. God bless. I will see you in the next video.